the dominant one because I don't want to be the dominant one.
Let's see if that problem is fixed.
It was. It's switching back and forth. I think it
Oh,
literally became an issue when I started playing the game. I think that's what killed that last stream. KOTOR. Go figure.
that's unfortunate.
All right? It really is. I'm kind of sad panda sad about that. Because I was actually starting to get into the game.
Oh, numbing is back.
Yes, he is. Oh, dude. Like I said, like I was about to say, like Numbing and Avid, dude, are like both really good mods.
It's awesome.
Like, if you ever do a stream of your own,
Uh-huh.
like if Numbing or if Avid can't make it, ask Numbing, because Numbing generally does a fantastic job. If he doesn't know, he'll ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're putting you on spot, Numbing, and as long as uh, I like that he's like your channel. The first time I modded Platinum's so good. Hey, you picked up the cues. You learned through asking questions and asking Avid and whatnot, or asking us. Hell, I haven't even modded. Uh, and I'll be the first to admit I am at the mercy of mods.
Excellent to hear. Numbing, you got that right. I want to say Jack Irons. That one time when we streamed on my channel, I want to say it's Jack Irons and one other person who I don't remember of the bunch. I gave the modding privileges to, and I'm assuming that goes to the channel for good, right?
Yes.
That's funny. Okay, cool. And so
So
yeah,
like,
whenever I'm live, he can jump in and do whatever he wants. So that's
right? No, that's one of the best thing about having a good mod. You
yeah.
don't have to worry about it. Like I've had issues in chat only once, and like, oh god, Avid and Jack tried their best to fix the situation, but it was still one of those. Meh.
Man, what was that?
I'm not. I don't want to.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
It's one of those. It's done. It's in the past, but it was still the fact that it happened in the first place is. It's why I say we're held to a different standard. We can't have problems in chat.
Yeah.
And granted, I wish we were held to the same standard as the other side, but we're not. And
Yeah. Oh, it's rough.
oh, it really is. It really is. I'm trying to get like we're talking whatever happened even messed up my icons on my desktop.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
Oh, did it change the screen proportions?
Yes, it did. And I think that's what caused it.
Something, yeah, something with one of you know what? I think it's that game that does that to my computer too. There's a I have a yeah, I can't explain it, but one of my things does that as well.
Kind of sad because we were starting to get like good views and everything, and yeah, sad panda sad. But yeah, dude. No, I will say this though. I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Going on Sunday.
I'm on a DC United stream.
Ah, okay. I'm liking that.
Yeah, and we're gonna be talking the best and worst of DC.
Okay. All right.
And as bad as it sounds, and I know it's kind of trendy, but let's be honest. Right now, the worst is nice Numbing, but the worst part about DC, like all the past flubs, are forgiven because of what's going on with DC now. Like Bendis's Superman, Gail Simone's Plastic Man. No, you're not going out, Cat. You can forget it. But like Bendis's Superman, Gail Simone's Plastic Man, like all, oh, like I already know that. a lot of these comics are just going to be garbage because they're taking people that are getting fired from Marvel for for the shit that they did at Marvel and their poor sales and everything. They're like, why don't you come over here? We could use you.
Oh, yes, and it's why. It's disturbing. It's sad. Like I don't know why lemmings would just why they would be lemmings in this sense. Like it's ridiculous. You're running a freaking company.
Yeah. And like thing I saw is basically Warner Brothers is looking at hiring James Gunn to do some DCEU movies after his whole like once he's completely no longer contractually obligated to Disney because even though he's been fired, he's still under contract.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Huh.
And so it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like, I'm sorry, but James Gunn proved himself to be and I'm not saying people don't change, because I can tell you right now how different I am from 10 years ago. All right. I completely understand. People do change. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that when you go out and virtue signal about saying, oh, like Roseanne, for instance, how he virtue signaled when she made a joke and whatnot. That means when you are put in that same position, you can't virtue signal your way out of it. And I respected the fact that he just accepted it. Like, I respected that. But the fact that everyone's trying to get him rehired and he's got this weird thing he's doing to try to get himself rehired.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, you had everyone somewhat going, all right, we respect you at least. You took it like a man. Going, all right, no, we don't really respect you anymore because you're backpedaling.
Have you seen the recent developments on that story?
Hmm.
Apparently Disney's caving and they're bringing it back full-heartedly.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because too many of the GTOG or GOTG cast members are like, if you don't bring them back, we'll walk.
Yeah, and it's like, call them on their bluff.
Yeah. It's like, look, bitch, you're under contract.
Yeah.
We will pull that fucking contract. How do you think Stallone got Mr. Freeze? He pulled fucking contract on Warner Brothers. That role was going to Patrick Stewart, and that movie would have been saved. Because the minute they tried to bring him a bunch of the ice puns, Patrick Stewart would have looked at him like, nah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm a Shakespearean actor. I do not make puns.
That's funny. I mean, essentially, though, this is hilarious. Again, Mark Hamill reinvented, not Mark Hamill, technically Paul Dini, but Paul Dini and Mark Hamill together essentially reinvented the writing for Mr. Freeze. They turned him from kind of more of a goofy villain of the old, like, stick up ice, robbery and ice gun thing to this tragic villain of I'm just a good husband.
Mm-hmm. And like everyone loved Mr. Freeze because of that. Like even the Arkham games going with the tragic Mr. Freeze is why everyone liked him. He's a tragic character. He didn't like he's not driven by the want of money or anything like that. He is driven by the want to cure his wife. And then when she died, get vengeance against those who took his wife from him.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's like the people make the joke still better love story than Twilight. That's like the ultimate love story.
Yeah, it is. To put it in the words of the old cheesy 80s action cliches, I didn't sign up for this shit. That's it. He didn't sign up for this shit.
Yeah. And like, Gail Simone likes to talk about fridging and this, that, and the other. It's like, bitch, have you even read a comic book? Have you even read most literature? The Odyssey. The Odyssey is literally Odysseus trying to get his way back home to his wife and son.
To get beat the shit out of those suitors.
Actually,
if my girlfriend knew, or my wife knew that she was my wife, or that she would be in the future, and all that, and you know, I knew who her suitors were. Yeah, I definitely do that. But right now, since she doesn't know who I am, it seems a little bit creepy since I've just been watching her from the shadows.
well,
I'll get up to talking to her eventually.
Right. Well, when you're not getting punched in the dick by Batman.
Yeah.
But
nice. All right.
And I mean, it's a copy from one of the high schools here, but the copyright. I'm trying to get it in the camera.
1944.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll admit I'm a bit of a bibliophile. I love old books.
Huh.
And no topics off subject, because I'm one of those people. I'm smart enough to be able to realize that you cannot debate someone's, I guess you could say, someone's beliefs without understanding them. That's why I have a Torah, a Quran, a King James Version Bible. I want the complete edition of the Talmud plus a Jewish encyclopedia, because I want to be able to debate people on the merits of their beliefs and be able to, if you will, basically be able to use their own arguments against them. It's actually one of my rules of debating. It's rule number 4, frame your opponent. Use their argument against them. You can't do that if you don't know what your opponent's argument is.
There's a more sincere element of it, in the sense that you're trying to understand what their motivations are and then align what you're saying with their own motivations, saying like, look, you and I believe the same thing. This is what it is. This is why you should believe this, because in your heart you do believe the same thing, and so it's a lot more sincere than a lot of people, I guess, let us off for with it.
But that's, once again, I was raised to know what the hell I'm talking about before talking about it. It's why, like earlier when we were on the Star Wars bit, you're mainly talking with chat, because I don't really know Star Wars. I know bits and pieces of Star Wars, but I don't know Star Wars like y'all do. Now, if we were talking Star Trek, that'd be a completely different thing, as long as we don't touch on the original series, because I can't fucking stand the original series.
Really? Okay.
It's
like first stuff?
It's Shatner's hammy acting. I can't stand it. He walks into the room and derails a completely good conversation with his poor acting.
Awkward pauses and overdone physical acting.
Yes. That's why, like, Next Generation, man, they got a Shakespearean actor to play the captain, and that's why Picard is, more often than not, a lot of people, like, don't get me wrong, Kirk was a boss. I will give him credit. He was a boss. He took no one's shit. But the difference between Kirk and Picard is Kirk was, I'm going to beam over to your ship and punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Where Picard was, let us find a diplomatic solution where both parties are happy and no one has to get hurt. And that's why I liked Picard. He was a diplomat. And, that's what a Starfleet captain is supposed to be. He's supposed to be a diplomat first. And, he didn't have, like, a long string of sexual exploits either. He didn't need it. All he needed was to show up, be confident, intelligent, calming, and he'd get the same effect. But I've been watching, what's the dude's? I don't remember the dude's name, but it's his YouTube series, Trek Actually, which I have been really getting into, like, way too much. I'm actually going to look for the channel real quick so I can tell you. Right up there, Steve Shives.
Okay.
Like, he goes hard on a lot of topics Star Trek, and it's really awesome.
Okay.
Like he went into I never really liked Voyager.
Uh-oh, numbing is going crazy.
Yeah, Steve. He hates it.
Oh, he does not like Steve Shives.
That's fine. I
But
don't,
yeah.
dude. I don't tell anyone they have to like or dislike anyone that I like or dislike. All right, you are your own person. You can have your own opinion.
Mhm.
I'm my own person. I'm going to have my own opinion.
We've got the pro, the con, and the ignorant. So,
Well,
guys, we've got everything here.
well, for me, it's the way I look at it. Everyone has their own taste, everyone has their own beliefs, everyone has their own way of thinking. Our individuality is what makes us. Our individuality is our greatest strength. The biggest problem with hive minds is ants could have evolved, for instance, beyond where they're at if they didn't have the same thing with bees and things like that. If they didn't have a hive mind, individuality is key. It's why you see animals being smarter than you'd think. I hate them because bleh.
And numbing, I can see what you mean to a
Yeah,
degree.
yeah, I can.
There's a couple of channels that I watch with Star Wars. One of them is oh man, he's Canadian. It's something with an S and then wave. Synthetic wave. Uh, I'll just look it up real fast. But either way, something wave. Sim,
What?
SW.
Oh,
This
like I
stupid
said,
wave. And in my opinion, he eats up too much of what the shills with the new Star Wars movies give. And I don't look at that as him drinking any Kool-Aid or anything like that. I think that he's just trying to be positive. He's just an optimist till the end in a situation where it's the doomsday clock for Star Wars fans. And so maybe Steve Shives is the same way, but I haven't seen any kind of SJW takeover for the most part of Star Trek, but I haven't seen the more recent stuff.
yeah, no, Discovery is pure SJW takeover, dude.
Okay.
Like, we're talking. I was going to watch it as soon as I heard Discovery was out. I thought, "Oh, right, yes, a new fucking Star Trek series." I was all excited. I was all like, "Yes, I can't wait to watch it." And then before the series even launched, they're talking about identity politics and this, that, and the other, and all the shit that Star Trek is not about. Like, the biggest thing about Star Trek is we had moved past our identity politics. We were just one united species. And so when they're sitting there talking about a new series and they're focusing on the fact that the main character, which one, Star Trek is not, there's not one main character. That's the point of Star Trek. The bridge crew are the main characters are the main cast, I should say, are the main characters. There's no one. It is the entire bridge crew, or not the entire bridge crew, but the entire senior staff, if you will. Because you do have bridge officers that are not a part of the senior staff. You get the idea. And Wesley Crusher was never a senior staff, but let's be honest, nobody really liked Wesley, which I didn't mind Wesley growing up. It's in retrospect, I look at Wesley Crusher and I'm just like, Will Wheaton, you have ruined what was once a character that most people didn't mind. Now they look at you and they're like, you've killed Wesley Crusher entirely. How you've become as an adult has killed what everything that the character should have stood for.
Yeah.
I just want to punch him in the dick.
I definitely see. Okay, he's saying that he thought that Total Biscuit was a scumbag harasser. If I'm thinking of the right guy, Total Biscuit died recently, correct?
Yes,
A
yes,
bunch
he
of
did.
SJWs took a bunch of pot shots at him, like within the month.
Yeah,
That
like
no, that's bad. Like
that.
I think that's just telling of a person's character. If they'll wait till somebody dies and then literally while people are mourning their death, they'll take pot shots at them because they can't respond. And so, that's bad.
Like, and they don't care about his widow. They don't care about how if I remember right, he has kids. Like, they didn't care about them. They just took it as an opportunity to be able to, you know what I mean? It's like, really?
Yeah. I mean, and another thing is like, it's one thing if this person is like basically Hitler, like they're a white nationalist, they're like super into this whole, like
Ethno-nationalism and things like that.
yeah, something like that, and they like constantly shout down their opponents. If they're an abysmal person, I still think, in my personal opinion, let them rest for a bit. Then you can debate their policies based on their policies and not shit on them personally. Or you can shit on them personally after you've let their corpse kind of be embalmed. But Total Biscuit seemed like just a boogie type guy. Like he seemed like someone that was just a cool guy that anyone could kind of go into a room with and kind of, chill with. And he wouldn't for any reason. And
Like,
so
I can't tell you because I was not a fan. Like, I never watched any of his stuff.
yeah.
But my whole point is that it didn't matter. That was like didn't matter. The man died. He's dead. It's buried. Let him rest in peace. Stop bringing up his name just so you can gain virtue points on the internet.
Oh, okay. Numbing Disaster's starting to say that he was a little bit of an inflamer. I didn't know that, but either way, like, yeah, it's a personal thing maybe with me that I want to let the corpse be put in the casket before I start throwing shit at someone. But yeah, like, gosh, did love his earlier stages. Do love some of his content. He was great. Yeah, it's so transparent of someone's character when they're throwing shots at somebody who literally died like within 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, because it's one of those. It's a societal issue. We have forgotten what the old expression "have respect for the dead" means. Now, you can sit there and say, "Oh, well, no one gave Hitler respect." No one really. Most people were glad he's dead, yeah, but they weren't out there on. We didn't have social media then. You didn't.
Yeah.
So they're like, it's. Yes, his death was celebrated, but you know what?
Hitler was literally Hitler.
Exactly.
Not in an SJW sense. He was literally Hitler.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come the fuck on. Like, if I lived back then, I would have been fucking dancing on his goddamn grave because he was literally Hitler. Same with Stalin. Same with Mao.
Yeah. When you campaign for the destruction of an entire
group of people
for one, but yeah. I mean, that's enough. Like when you campaign for the entire destruction of a group of people and then successfully carry a bunch of it out, like, yeah, that's bad. I mean, even if you don't successfully carry it out, that's just your pathetic version of Hitler. You're just without the tenacity to actually get anything done. So yeah, that's one thing. But I mean, if you're just kind of a douche or even something like that, like, come on. Yeah. Wait, Jews, gays, Crips, and Gypsies. Oh, crippled people. I thought he was talking about the gang, the Crips, and I was like, I don't know if they were a big thing in Germany.
No, but he's right. But the whole point stands. You know what I mean? That's a special case. Doing it to just some YouTuber that you don't like, some streamer you don't like, that's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, grow the ever-loving fuck up. I'm sorry. This is why nobody likes y'all anymore. Like, this just literally, this is why nobody likes y'all anymore. You guys do not take the time to just let people be. Like, the big thing that drives me nuts about the SJW community is they could be over there doing their thing, we'd leave them alone. We could be over here doing our things. They don't leave us alone. And
Yeah.
then they wonder why, when they take their pop shots at us, we decide to retaliate. Well, motherfucker, maybe if you hadn't taken a goddamn pop shot at us and not poked the fucking bear and just let us enjoy our shit. Like, the whole reason why the indie community is thriving now is like, I'm thinking about trading in some of my fucking rares, like mythics and rares and my magic cards, just so to like local comic shop, that because they do take them and sell them in that, just so I can get me some goddamn indies just at the shop. You can be like, look, I'm picking up rags, I'm picking up a couple alternate titles, I don't even give a fuck, I'm picking up this, I'm picking up that. Fuck you.
People used to like SJWs with a question mark, says Numbing Disaster. Let's try and counter that.
Okay, at first, people didn't mind them. They're like, they're just trying to make the world a better place. Yeah. They're just trying to. They may be misguided in their tactics, but they mean well. That was early SJW. We felt they meant well, and then
before that, the hippies and stuff, who were very anti-Vietnam War. It's like, I can see that position. The Vietnam War was very, very complex, and I'm not even going to get into that, who was right and who was wrong, but the civil rights thing was big. The civil rights, like, very good, very, very powerful, and the people who were able to rise above their difference in a time of big racial division and say, look, these people are a different color than us. We don't give a shit. We love them. I like this guy that's this race, this guy that's this race. We're all humans. Let's get together. Let's get these laws passed and everything. And those were the original social justice warriors. It's been about 60 years now. It's been 60 years.
But that's the point. At one time, yes, we needed it.
Yeah.
What modern social justice has become is it's become, all right, we no longer have any battles because feminism won the war on equality. We won the war on equality against the racists. The KKK were pretty much gone.
We've castrated the KKK.
Mm-hmm.
They're done. It's a bunch of fat old white guys who most of probably are all,
No, not anymore. SJWs and the way. Okay, it's a literal thing. It's why Joseph Goebbels, which I have an actual first edition. It's in really shitty condition,
okay.
but I have a first edition of the Goebbels Diaries. It's one of my more prized books, and
of course.
but he said a lie told often enough becomes truth, and the reason why you continuously tell that lie is because that's how you program people. A report from Consumer Psychology doubled down on this, and I can prove it. You can save 15% or more. I don't even have to finish it. You already know. Everyone, those watching already know. They know how that ends. Because why? They've heard it so much that it's been ingrained in them. Now, take that same mentality and have it be people continuously saying, you're racist, you're a Nazi, you're a white supremacist, you're this, you're that. Guess what? Over time, no matter how strong of a mind and will you have, you will eventually become those things because you are so sick and because you've just been continuously told it by different people repetitively. Low input, high repetition is all it takes. And
screeching.
Yeah, and what do SJWs do? Low input, high repetition, soundbite culture.
Soundbite culture. I like that. That's
It's
a good way of putting it.
it's how you get them to believe or get people to believe things. If you
Yeah,
It's why they break down these complex, overly convoluted, subjects into like soundbite form. Granted, the soundbite form doesn't give you all the information, but because it was broken down into that, it's easier to brainwash those who you're indoctrinating into your beliefs. It's why I often say ideology has been and always will be the monolithic figure that blocks one's vision of the big picture.
yeah. And again, there's that old proverb about you say a lie 3 times or more, and people will take it as truth or something like that. Is that how the proverb goes? Because I'm probably butchering
There's something along those lines. I haven't.
it.
I need to reread my Bible. I'm not going to lie.
It's in Italian. It's probably twice a lie is the truth, and then you read Mongolian, and it's something entirely different. There's
Yeah,
proverbs
but
language, but
but
yeah,
the whole point is when you tell people something that is a lie often enough, they begin to believe it because of the fact that they are hearing it from multiple sources.
yeah,
Me, I know I'm not racist, so when they try to do that shit with me, I just go, uh huh,
yeah,
and I don't even have to. I don't need to pull out my, family that are persons of color
yeah.
and hide behind them as some sort of shield because you know what? I'm not an SJW. I will debate you, and guess what? I will win because my argument has actual thought behind it, not yours.
And it's like they can talk whatever crap they want, but at the end of the day, like I'm just a guy who lives a regular life and values people at what they are. My last girlfriend was half native, half Hispanic, and he broke up with me. And so like this whole narrative of like racist whatever, it's like I'm gonna laugh in the face of that. It's just not true when you see my values, when you read what I got and everything. It's
Hey, let me put it to you like this. I am not a North Texas fan. Want to know why I'm wearing a North Texas hoodie? Because my eldest nephew, who's half black, plays for North Texas. If
yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's black. I like my black.
Yeah, yeah. Black is a good color, as you
Mm-hmm.
can tell.
Mm-hmm. And here I thought it was just because Black Mask required all his goons to wear fucking black.
Well, that may or may not have been why I signed that, and I'm a little too much of a coward for the Joker gang, considering there's a 50% death rate among promotions.
Um,
I didn't like the concept of being shot in the face after, criticizing his makeup job.
yeah, but getting punched for just being there doesn't sound like a good idea either.
It's better than being shot or stabbed. The Joker's rough with his boys, and Black Mask essentially, if you're low enough down the chain or you don't, you do a good job. So if you're either extreme, you're kind of safe.
Yeah, I don't trust Black Mask. I'm sorry, but he's just one of those. He's a true mob boss. You fuck up bad enough,
Yes.
they'll find you in Gotham Harbor with 2 holes in the back of your head.
Yeah. Yeah, and I worry that every day.
Well,
You know,
you could always change, occupations and stop being a fucking, basically a flunky for a goddamn mob boss.
I could, but then again, what would I, there's a lot of effort required into actually living a life of honesty and doing it, having a real job. And it's like, when you could just be a jackass and shake people down for money, that's one thing. Me and Colonel Comics have had this talk.
Uh,
He prefers to do it the legal way, but what's the law? It's a couple of things scribbled down on a piece of paper.
yeah, true. And let's be honest, though, Colonel Comics is still a progressive. I mean, at least you're a step up from there.
Well, I'm a progressive, in public, and then I whenever it suits me in the privacy of my own life, I flip the script. Uh, Harvey Weinstein was a progressive when it suited him. Uh,
Yeah, but I highly doubt you're Harvey Weinstein level evil.
that's how all villains work, right? We're all progressives in the light, and then whenever it goes into the dark, it's virtue signaling. And so, Colonel Comics, I can jump on his boat and then take the spoils as it comes off.
Uh,
That's
uh,
what thugs do, thugs and villains.
see, I'm glad I'm the guy that just kind of gets along with everyone, because
Yeah.
like, oh god, that's mm-mm. The like I've stated before, I think the left's crazy. Yeah, I think the right's crazy too. Liber-
Hmm.
don't too much like libertarians or Green Party much either. They're all slaves to dogma of their own making. But at the same time, if I had to sign up with a villain, hmm, I honestly am torn because Joker's my favorite villain. Dude, no, no, Joker is my favorite villain.
That's a good sketch too. I like that picture.
Uh huh. But at the same time, like we were talking about in between streams, oh, Freeze is such a good villain.
He is, but he doesn't take lackeys for the most part. He doesn't appreciate the criminal underworld, and he doesn't view himself as a villain necessarily. I don't think he likes sticking with people who have less than moral intentions. Uh,
Very true. Very true.
if he had any drive or motivation, I would join up with Deathstroke because he kind of takes care of his own boys.
Well, but I am not skilled enough. Like, I'm not a skilled enough swordsman. I'm not a skilled enough fucking fighter.
Yeah.
And but granted, I think Deathstroke would whip me into shape in a heartbeat. Like, you're gonna be one of my guys.
Well, I think that the scary thing there is you probably either make it or die.
Yeah, true, true.
I'm
But
not die trying.
right. I wouldn't side with Cobblepot. Fuck that asshole.
That guy's a very bitter, salty man, and I feel like if you make one crack at his height during your entire career, he'll probably have you killed.
Yeah.
You're a man, so
No, I completely agree. Like, fuck Cobblepot.
oh,
And on top of that, I mean, come on, what's with this fucking boner for Bruce Wayne? I understand your family had money at one time and now you don't, but it's come on. Who cares if Bruce Wayne is rich and you're not anymore? That was your own family's fuck up, not Bruce Wayne's.
yeah. I gotta make a bathroom run real fast.
Yeah, the booze will do that to you. So who's all in chat?
Numbing and I think one other guy.
Well, who all's in chat? Come on. Make yourselves known. Do it now. Do it now. 5 points for anyone who follows Foamy. Granted, they're mythological internet points, but still, 5 points for anyone who follows Foamy. Fucking. Oh, that got rid of chat. Aw, that sucks, Matt. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Well, Numbing, you're still there to make sure that should, people do come back in. I know. It is so intimate. Well, but, yeah, dude. All I gotta say is, yeah. Wonder who all else is streaming tonight. Probably EVS. He's always streaming. Probably Yellow Flash. He's always streaming on Fridays and Saturdays. And let me take a look at that. Let me take a look at that. So I can't see chat right now. Sorry, guys. But let's see. I'm looking at my who I'm subscribed to, so I can find out who else streaming. Because I want to know the competition for tonight. I think it's channels. Yeah. Are you back? No, not back yet. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as the USB thing should have the converter cord tomorrow. Well, that just means you can be on tomorrow night's meeting of the minds. Because why not? Kind of sad. Like I said, I'm so disappointed that the more or less the I appreciate the help, Numbing. I tweeted it out, but I admit I'm not really that interesting. That is hilarious, Josh. Like, I've come to accept the fact that I'm not that interesting. It happens. It's what happens when you spend most of your time reading books, playing video games, and reading comics.
Okay, Cranky Writer's posting more.
Oh yeah, that's basically it. His mic's having problems, or else he'd be in here with us.
Okay.
Like, he's going to have a USB converter tomorrow.
All right.
That's why I'm glad I use a good gaming headset, dude. It may not be top of the line, but damn it, it works. I'm happy with it. Like, what do we got here?
Yeah, I posted in my Twitter about it, but I didn't really add anybody. So
Yeah.
oh
Yeah, it's right. Oh, I like that. We were at 4, then dropped to 2. Now we're back to 3. Just makes me sad. I need Colonel Comics.
Yeah, why did he get a job? He's selling out. He's selling out to the capitalist system.
Well,
the job.
not all of us can, you know what I mean, work for supervillains and, you know, get punched in the dick by Batman.
Yeah, it's rough, but I get paid. I guess that's nice.
Yeah.
We're proud, but you know. Disaster. Oh shit! Got guys on. I don't get it.
Like I said, we jumped up for a split second there and then dropped back down.
I can't see the amount of people that are in. So
yeah. No.
Ooh, I'm one of the thumbs up though.
Nice.
Yeah.
What I could do real quick, because we did have to switch streams and everything. I'll shoot you a link on the Twitter. So, or, you know, oh, do you like the new name for your group chat?
I do.
I was like, all right, we got to do something about that name.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to do was make Jackass Stream Incorporated, but it was too long. So I was just like, fuck it, make Jackass Incorporated.
Yeah, it works, and I like it. So, you know.
What sucks is I tried to use the loo in between streams, but the loo was occupied. So like, fuck it, we need to get streaming again.
Yeah.
Hopefully get our viewers back. Hopefully they have moved on to more interesting streams. Apparently they have. Not that I really blame them. I mean, it's kind of my own fault. Curse you, KOTOR! I'm gonna find a resolution mod for KOTOR because I know it's out there. It has to be.
Yeah.
That game is too well loved And if I can find a resolution mod for it to get it up to, 980 by I think it's like no, it's 1920 by 1080. I'll be happy. Just as long as it fits on my screen the way it's supposed to. Like I was spent a few days at a friend's house earlier this week, and I didn't take my TV. I used theirs in the living room, but it's only 720p. It's
Yeah.
not full 1080, so it's like everything had to be like, oh, I hated it. Like, okay, here's one for you. Try playing the original Dead Rising on the 360
Yeah.
on a 480i TV.
I don't know if I have a 480i TV. I have the original Dead Rising on a 360.
Yes, but you played. Okay, that game was.
That up. I love that game.
Oh yeah, no
Yes.
that game was meant to be played on a high definition TV, 720p or 1080i or 1080i or 1080p. It was not meant for standard definition TV. That's why the text and the whenever they'd tell you to do something, you'd have the little text box. If you played it on the standard definition TV, it'd be so difficult to read because the game was not meant to be played on a standard definition TV.
I think I played it on a low def TV. And I remember it being very small and very, blurry, but I've got good vision, and so, or at least I did. And damn, when did that game come out?
2006.
That's actually okay. So I must have gotten it a lot earlier than I thought. I probably got it in 2008 or something.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
what's funny is I used to have one of the few models of the CRT style TVs, the cathode ray tube TVs that were HD. That thing was a heavy motherfucker, dude.
Whew.
When I got my the TV that was my second monitor, basically a friend of mine's youngest autistic pulled down one of the TVs in the living room, or the TV in the living room, completely destroyed it. Like he's destroyed several TVs because he know what I mean? Just he didn't understand. So I gave him my spare monitor. That's why I'm using an old Dell monitor as my spare monitor. And hey, I'm not gonna complain. It does the job. I'm granted what I kill to have, like I did have, which was a 42-inch spare monitor. Yeah, it'd be awesome. But it'd also be a pain in the ass the way my setup is. Like, literally, where I have my light would be, I'd have to move it down to my desk, and then it just, I like my setup.
Huh.
Like, if I do finally get me another 1080p TV for my second monitor, it's going to be only like a 30-inch max, just because at this point, I don't need that big of a second monitor. I don't even really watch things half the time while gaming, just because of the fact that I'm generally doing something else. Then I have a bad habit of, like, I'll put something on I actually want to watch. And whereas instead of having something on that I've seen 50 million times, like Deadpool, I will act. And even Deadpool, I thought you're playing a game. Don't you see it paused? Oh, yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
That's why I quit doing that, dude. And it's like, and I can't just put a show on, because most of the shows that I want to watch are shows that I actually am behind on. So it's like, fuck. Like the Orville, Arrow, Flash, Supergirl.
Oh, I'm way behind on those. And Supergirl, man, I don't know how that show's been going, but I hear that they've been writing it really
SJW-ish since they started the third season, third or fourth. Yeah, no.
There are 4 seasons for Supergirl? Damn.
Yeah.
I guess yeah. They started right after what season 2 of the Flash or something. But
Season 1, I do believe.
okay, yeah, yeah, that makes more sense.
So they're on 3 or 4. And like for me, my biggest problem is I was already watching, the Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. That was the other one. Legends of Tomorrow, you know, Arrow, and I was really trying to get caught up on Supergirl so I could start watching Supergirl.
Yeah,
But I just, I don't know. I just felt like they were giving Supergirl lesser villains to fight.
huh?
And it's like, granted, I've never been a big Supergirl fan anyway, but I still wanted to see it just because DC was owning that TV game. Like, I need to get caught up on seasons 4 and 5 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. See, the way season 3 ended was fucking amazing, though.
What, Agents of Shield?
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Really? Okay, I gotta watch that then. Did they ever get around to putting in Taskmaster?
I don't know. I so want Taskmaster in the MCU though, because Taskmaster is such a good fucking villain. Like
Yeah.
he's underrated as fuck, and it's like,
Oh,
go ahead.
ah, it's the cool guys. They'll never get noticed.
Right?
Part of
Well,
the cool guys club.
all right. So the issue of Agent X, right before they had officially, you know, solidified that Agent X wasn't Wade Wilson, he was someone else, and they got Wade Wilson pulled out of his head and put back into Wade. All right. But Taskmaster and him were both after. Well, Taskmaster was after a different girl, but thought that Agent X was and him was after the same girl. And what ended up happening is Taskmaster and Agent X got into this fight, and Taskmaster's watching wrestling, and Taskmaster's mutant ability is being able to mimic or basically learn anything, any type of fighting. All he has to do is see it once, and he's learned it.
Yeah.
And he starts literally copying the moves from the show while they're fighting, and it was just like, and Agent X like, copying the tube, man. That's slow.
That and there was a couple of things that were really creative in the past. Like one of them, he watched the when he was a high schooler. He watched a single game of Brett Favre playing football and like took him to state.
Mm-hmm.
There was a concert where they actually paid him. They brought him in and were like, "Hey, our guitarist just broke his hand and we need someone to fill him in." He goes, "Okay, show me your top 5 songs and give me 30 minutes." And they're like, "Oh, that was fun."
Wow. Not like, are you still getting an echo, Numbing? Because apparently he was getting an echo.
But I don't hear it anymore.
Odd.
Yeah.
But no, like Taskmaster's such a good character. Like even on the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon on Disney XD, they showed him fighting because it was basically Spider-Man was in charge of the young heroes being trained by Shield.
Like Iron Fist.
Huh?
Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
Yeah, where you see Iron Fist do a technique, and then yeah, he just does it back to him, and I like how they showed us the way his powers work. It's like he sees the mathematics of it.
That was really cool. I like that. It almost makes it more like he's on the autism spectrum than has a power. It's a weird way of explaining it, but
Why not both?
cool, yeah. Like I've heard it explained like that. It's like maybe he's just a savant physically.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know. Back in the day, like when I kept up heavy with sparring my friends and everything, and they had me to where I could react to an attack before it was even coming.
Yeah, kind of an anticipation thing.
Yeah, like they had my reactions good. I'm nowhere near that now. I need to get the shit kicked out of me a few times to get back into it. Like
Yeah, same.
like well there's a video that I have somewhere. I think it's on my camera still, called the dusting. All right. And what happens is you see me and a dude that used to be a part of our group of friends that's kind of gotten himself excommunicated. Oh, back it up a little bit. Buddy Ryan had an acoustic show. This is the after party of the acoustic show and everything over at the one that's been excommunicated from the group fucking house. He had a bunch of equipment and everything for training. I'm all like, all right. I hadn't sparred in like a decade at this point, all right? If not a little bit longer. And you see me, I square up, tap, tap, throw a kick, and then you just see this dude grab me and literally throw me to the ground. Because he's more of a wrestler, not a
Yeah.
fighter. Whereas I'm a fighter, but don't get me wrong, I'm a squirrely. I've learned some wrestling. I know enough to keep me from getting locked down, right?
Yeah.
Well, you see two different fighters in just one person. This you see the first part of the fighter who's being reactive and not really on the offense, he's just reacting to what happens until he picks my ass up and throws me in a corner. Like hard. And the minute that happens, you see me literally knocked the dust off, and I'm like, okay, I remember how this goes. And from there, you see me being more on the offense and not the defense. Like it's I love that. Everyone's all like, everyone just thought I was just this goofy little nerd. They're like, he's gonna get his ass handed to. Oh God, where did that dude come from? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's fun. It's like the experiences that you get kind of compile, and you learn from MMA. You learn defensive instinct before you learn offensive instinct.
Mm-hmm.
It cracks me up. But yeah.
Oh, dude, no, you should see the dude I spar. Like, the dude is like 6'2". Like, he's a big motherfucker. Nobody hits as hard as Kuma. Nobody. Like, oh, dude, I haven't been able to hang out with him in a cool minute. Mainly because I don't have a vehicle. Well, I have a vehicle, but the engine's blown. And instead of pulling out the engine, fixing the cylinder, that because what it is one of the piston rods got busted. That's only basically spark plugs needed to be changed, even though they were supposed to have been changed by the shop we took it to. We were charged for it and everything. They never changed the fucking spark plugs.
Huh.
And one was literally all the porcelain was gone practically.
That's
And 10-1, it was that fucking rod that was thrown. The porcelain insulates it. It makes sure that the electricity goes right. So without that porcelain, it just fucking makes me mad.
yeah.
I can't wait till tomorrow. I can get an actual pack of cigarettes.
What are you working on now?
Hmm?
What are you working on now?
Go roll your own.
Huh?
Roll your own.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, it works.
It does, yeah.
I try to make a pack last me 3 days.
Huh.
Which, by the way, kids, don't start smoking.
Yeah. I've smoked like here and there with friends, but I've never actually bought a pack of cigarettes. Weird.
Dude, I'm regretful that I started. Because I already have asthma. This has not made it better. What irony is doctors used to prescribe cigarettes for those with asthma.
That's funny. Why?
Because they're now, granted, straight tobacco isn't nearly as bad on your lungs as modern cigarettes, because they put so many chemicals in it to treat it and so on and so forth. But it's still the fact that tobacco is not good for you either. Pot, on the other hand, can be good for you depending on the person. It's a natural steroid, so for someone with asthma, for instance, it's good. It helps them breathe
Okay.
because it's a natural steroid. But oops, that's no good. Yeah. But the point being, just making sure. Yeah. But yeah, let me do this. So you're not looking. Wrong one. There we go.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, dude. No, it's because it's a natural steroid. It helps those with. Okay, so what asthma does is it causes the airwaves to become constricted and not be able to take in air. And when that happens, you need a steroid to open up the airways. It's what inhalers are. They're basically aerosol steroids. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Nope, didn't. I'll admit it.
Yeah, it's an aerosol steroid that pretty much opens up the airways. But problem is, like for me anyway, it gives me a headache. Like straight up a headache.
Huh.
That's why I hate using fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but alright, I'm gonna let you handle the stream for a minute. You can babble on incoherently while I make a run to the loo.
Cool. I will do. Oh my goodness. Fair enough. Well, yeah, so I guess we can talk a little bit about my channel now, since it appears you two don't know too much about what I do. It's kind of split a little bit, me and Xenophobic Jackass. Xenophobic Jackass takes care of most of the Star Wars stuff. I have not played both the KOTORs. I own both of them. I need to get through. I need to complete one and finish, and then start and finish two. Might be a good thing to get into now. I'll do that within the month, or within this week, this next week. I should start that. Kreia. I don't know if I have seen them. I followed a lot of the stuff from Darth Treya, but I'm assuming it's a very different thing, especially since they're spelled. Okay, two. Okay, because I loved Nihilus, and I know Nihilus is the main villain of two. Nihilus is how a villain should be done. He's one of the many templates for a beautiful, perfect villain. And unfortunately, one is spoiled for me. I know you're Revan. Class can easily breeze throughout the game after. Oh, really? Jedi Master is the way to go. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, I would have thought Sith would be the easy path, and the Jedi would have been like the morally righteous but harder path. That's fun. Force powers make the game a joke to play. I'll need to get into force powers then, because I'm getting my ass kicked constantly right now.
Nah.
Yes.
What are y'all talking about?
They are saying that in KOTOR, the force powers are broken. If you use the force, you win, essentially.
Oh, dude, part of the reason why the character editor or whatever that I was talking about was so funny is because of the fact that it literally allowed me to be full light side but still use Sith lightning.
Really?
Yes. Which I mean, what's funny is Gray Jedi technically can do both.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I would be anything, I'd strive to be a Gray Jedi. Because of the fact that the Gray Jedi were proper balance. They were neither light nor dark.
Essentially, they're the most moral.
Pretty much because they don't have dogma guiding their actions.
Uh huh.
Fanboys, that fucking movie. The Seth Rogen's character in that where he's got the two arms covered in the rebel tattoos and the fucking other side with the empire tattoos.
Huh.
I always thought that was cool. So we're copacetic, right? By copacetic, you mean I'm going to rip your tongue out and lick something like lick your asshole with it or something? I don't know if you've ever seen the movie.
I have not.
It's funny.
Oh, I get you.
It's basically making fun of Star Wars fanboys.
Yeah, we leave a lot to tease. I will fully admit that. It's
Well, like, let's be honest, the various types of fanboys were all kind of, we're a lot alike.
yeah.
All right.
Comes the FIFA or Madden fanboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really like there's a huge difference, but it's certainly worth, pointing out.
Yeah.
It's like half the time our squabble, like any fanboy who's willing to admit that, yes, they admit that they like the other side just as much or enough to watch it and everything. Like my buddy Ryan that I was mentioning earlier, him, his brother, his whole family, they're all heavy Star Trek folks. And he was going hard into how they fucked up The Last Jedi.
Huh.
Like, oh my god, they were just
Yeah,
fucking.
they
It,
do.
it was funny. I'm just like, oh god. So, oh dude, so I got the first issue of my comic written.
Neat. Yeah, you said.
Uh, uh, well, it's I'd forgotten if I told you or not.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, it was. It like I'm eventually gonna give you the opportunity to read it. I just want to get, like I said, Avid to edit it first and find any mistakes that I had made because I know there's a lot. I know English very well.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely understand that. English or language, grammar, all that crap is not the most fun stuff.
It's just one of those. There's a reason why English for a lot of cultures is so hard for them to learn
Yeah.
because of the fact that one, we have words that are spelt and sound phonetically the same but mean different things.
Uh-huh.
So it just makes it difficult for people to learn. And I'm like, as an American, I'm right there with you.
Hmm. Yeah.
If you're wondering, I'm looking for mods for KOTOR because I'm determined to fix the resolution issue.
Neat.
Because, like, let's be honest, streaming it could have been awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right. And sure enough, I found one right off the bat. I just had to look for resolution mod. And yeah, that's something I'm going to be doing when we get out of stream. I'm just going to copy everything over to my Firefox web browser. This way I can be like,
Yeah.
like, and just like D&D, you can game the stat point modifier ratio like a boss if you're good at RPGs. Man, don't even get me started. I had a fucking D&D monk that was broken. No, I literally did. Like, that was... Alright. I rarely play D&D. D&D is not my game. I'm a Battletech mech warrior guy. Through and through. So when I was playing D&D, though, I was like, all right, I've had enough experience to know how to min-max my character. Munchkin. I don't know if you tabletop. That's. Do you?
I've been trying to get into it, but the thing is, you need a lot of people too.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
You know what I was just thinking when you were talking about all this? What if we were to set up a Comicsgate D&D game?
We were actually talking about that. And we're not going to do D&D because we are comics guys.
Yeah.
Marvel superheroes.
But it's like the same style, correct?
It's a D20 system, I do believe. I gotta find. I do believe it's a D20 system. I gotta find my book. Like, and I want the Civil War book too.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to run a campaign, and see, the biggest problem I have with campaigns, dude, the biggest problem I have with campaigns, there's always that one asshole that always fucks it up. And it's like, you know, like they take pride, these guys take pride in ruining the DM's plans, but it's like the DM's job is to tell you a fucking story. Let him tell you a goddamn story and stop trying to throw a wrench in his plans. And he got kicked from the group, but by that point, he'd already done so much damage to the story that. And what the worst part is he did it to show off for a bitch that he brought with him to the campaign.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm just like, look, dude, this is supposed to be us having a good night of tabletop gaming, not you trying to get yourself laid.
Nevertheless, using D&D to get yourself laid. Huh.
Yeah, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using tabletop gaming. Like, that's being more creative. But it's the fact that he knew the end game of the fucking campaign. He knew because it was him, Kuma, and I sitting in IHOP talking about about where the campaign can go and everything. We had a lot of people who hadn't tabletop gamed that was joining us, and we were trying to give them a good experience and get them into it, and then he does that shit. Which kills the experience for them.
Yeah. That's the first time too. Oh, that's gonna be my first like finished campaign will be that.
And it's like, dude, like I had, and I'm probably gonna revive the storyline. That's why I'm not mentioning it.
Okay. All right.
But let's just put it to you like this: I was pulling in everything from the Marvel universe to make it interesting, like, well, Earth-wise.
That's cool.
Like, I'll give you this much of a hint of the story. It involved the Infinity Stones.
All right. Dope. I like it. I'm already in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so have you mentioned this to anyone else, or?
The not within the meeting of the minds chat, but
Okay.
it was literally one of those. I wanted to make a campaign that would have been fun, interesting. Like my character is that I was playing is my comic book character.
Okay.
And so in the context of the Marvel universe, he falls under godlike in everything almost.
All right.
So, you know, when you have a character like that, you have to have your campaign be that much better because of the fact that if you have practically literal gods in your campaign, you can't you can't have them be like Daredevil fighting, you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
they can't be street level. They have to be going against those big guys.
Uh
And it's like, oh, to have it ruined by a jackass who
huh.
just trying to show off. It's like, and I told him, you know, I have no problem with having OP like player characters as long as they don't use it to derail what I'm trying to do. I even let one of the guys create a character that was a fusion of Wolverine, Cyclops, and Kitty Pryde.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like, hey, dude, have fun. That's the whole point. And I'm the type of DM that'll bend or alter the rules to make the game fun. Like, if it's the rules are too restrictive in an area, get rid of it.
Yeah.
This is how I do it. Like, and it's how I used to run my BattleTech MechWarrior campaigns. It was you could bring practically anything in. You could bring in tech that's not even in the manual, as long as it can one be explained. You can't just have, oh well, my character doesn't know his backstory, but he's a god. No,
Yeah.
bring me a backstory, give me a reason why he's practically a god, and I will, if it's well done, be like, you know, if you're someone who knows how to tabletop game, even more so, because you know the rules, you don't derail the campaign. That's like rule number one. You don't derail the campaign unless it's something that is meant to derail the campaign, i.e., the DM's throwing something out there that is meant to for the players to be like, "What's all this? Let me check that out."
Yeah.
Like, no, if I ever join someone's game, like campaign, I'm gonna have a little thing, a little talk with the DM. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Let's just say it's something I did with my original Oblivion run, and every now and then if I create a new character, I might revive the idea just to have some fun. But it was because Oblivion was the first like real free, just free to do whatever you want game I played.
Okay.
So when my friends told me, yes, no, you can actually kill NPCs. Really? I've
Yeah.
never, I've never been able to do this before.
Oh, that feeling. Yeah.
So my first character was a serial killer. That
Oh, that's funny.
yes, oh no, it gets better. The character would strip the victim and leave a single lockpick on them. And the joke was, the headcanon was, he was the lockpick killer. That's going in. Let's see.
Yeah. Man. All right. Well, I'm loving the concept of us doing like a big like game all together. But how do we? Could we do that over the live stream?
We that's the whole plan. Everybody would have to have a camera of sorts.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm good.
Yeah, so am I. So am I.
All right.
But yeah, dude, no. And then of course everyone would need their dice and things like that. Like, it got to dig in my backpack real quick because I'm that type of nerd. I know you heard that rattle.
Oh yeah, it was a glorious rattle.
Oh yeah, and you know the sign somebody's been tabletop gaming for too long when they have been used, or I should say they use a Crown Royal bag for their dice.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think twice. One of the employees of the bar that I work at, one of my coworkers, and then my brother-in-law. So yeah, the Crown Royal bag. I've seen that.
I don't know if you ever do you know the HeroClix games?
Yes. Oh my gosh, like a tactics.
Uh, well, no, it's a
Like a knockoff.
actual.
Tactics is kind of a knockoff, right?
I'm guessing. I don't know, but did you ever hear of MechWarrior Dark Age?
No.
All right, so MechWarrior Dark Age and the expansions to it was the MechWarrior HeroClix type of game, and one of the things you could get for it, they had different factions and everything, but one of the things you could get to for it was dice that had the faction emblems on it.
That's awesome.
And I have them in the Banson Raiders color, and all of them have the Banson Raiders logo as the 6. Like Kuma got those for me, and it's like, oh, that's so awesome. That's one of my pride and joys. But yeah, dude, like, see if I can.
Be right back. I can still hear you.
Oh, I was about to show off my dice, so I'll wait till you get back.
Take a minute.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, okay. I'll be right back.
No, Roll20 is an online server website where groups of people can play can go on there and play their tabletop games. It's not it's got map creations, tokens, chats, music players, dice rollers, etc. Can even upload character sheets and rules for all sorts of different tabletop games and editions. Very interesting. Might have to check that out. Roll20. I hate using Google, but I will do that for this. There we go. Thank you, Numbing. That is actually quite helpful because it might help us with our streaming of the games. Yeah, I've got it. It's all set up already, and at this point we're just kind of waiting for Dick McJackass. I think the only people watching at this point is you and Matt.
All right, back.
All right, so yeah, dude. No, let me bloop, cause I'm not trying to take them all out, but like.
That's a lot of pairs.
Yeah, I mean, granted, there's a lot of MTG life counters in there as well because, it's my obvious collection of Magic cards.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I've been part of me wants to play MTG, but at the same time, I don't want to play the new sets.
Yeah, I've heard that Anita Sarkeesian's crowd really hit him hard recently.
Don't even get me started. And on top of that, the actual card stock went to shit. The art's shitty. I'm sorry, but whoever said it was like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, fat acceptance is not a good thing. It is unhealthy. I'm only like 20 pounds, if that, overweight. I'm 155, all right?
Yeah.
But I'm 5'8" and 155.
I don't think that's overweight at all, technically speaking.
Well, If it's muscle, no. But
Uh,
it's fat. It's not muscle. And that's my whole point. Like I'm trying to get either like I got a little bit of a pudge and I don't like it.
yeah,
I've never liked it. Like I've always prided myself on staying healthy. So having a pudge, any pudge is unacceptable. And you know, when you have the fat acceptance crowd going, you should love yourself the way you are. Yeah, do you love diabetes? Do you love heart problems? Do you love breathing problems? Do you love all the extra shit that comes with being heavy and overweight?
yeah,
It's like I understand we need, this is kind of natural selection and the unhealthy ones are weeding themselves out, and it is to an extent population control. But at the same time, if you can fully, like, and I'm not talking, like, I have a homegirl that's way overweight, but she has mobility problems.
yeah,
I don't hound her. All right. She has trouble walking, and that's what led to her putting on all that weight. All right. But when you have absolutely no physical reason to be doing that, you're just making yourself, you're living unhealthily because you don't want to do anything about it. And
uh,
I understand. It's hard to get the weight off at first. Believe me, I know. All right, I shot up to 200. Believe me, I know. And want to know what? When I shot up to 200, I had aches and pains I'd never had before. I got stretch marks in areas that I didn't know could get stretch marks. I had, it just trouble sleeping because you know what I mean? All the extra weight.
yeah,
It's, I'm sorry, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, especially the fat acceptance crowd that thinks it's okay.
yeah,
Like, and I'm not saying, like I said, I know it's not easy. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's going to be. But I am saying that if you can do something to get that weight down, do it.
yeah,
And you'll live longer. You'll have a lot happier of a life because you're not carrying around a bunch of excess weight. It's just, But then again, that's me. I look at things logically. Facts over feelings,
mm-hmm.
which has become the new white supremacy, supposedly, like diversity of thought or, being a white person in general.
Yeah, and it's like, ah,
I know. I know. See,
yeah,
the irony of the situation is there was a time where, people would be like, you can't, people understood you had no control over your birth. So we shouldn't judge people over their skin color, disabilities, things like that. That's where we were a decade ago. In just fucking 10 years of cucked out social justice, look at what's happened to us. I've missed my Banson's Raiders dice. Either way, dude, it saddens me. I it I look at how far we have fallen. Like Thomas Sowell tweeted out today. Love Thomas Sowell, very intelligent man. If for those who don't know, he's black. And the thing is, he's an economist. He's an economicist or something. However you say it. I'm getting tired. I'm not gonna lie. Ran out of coffee.
I get you.
But and he understands that things like welfare and social justice doesn't work it's causing us to regress. And he made the point, you know, oh, what's up, Spork? Glad to see you join, man.
All right, all right.
But he basically tweeted out that the social policies of the left are causing us to regress back to barbarian. And mind you, this is a paraphrase. And barbarians with advanced electronics are still barbarians.
That they are. That they are.
Glad to hear you feeling a bit better, Spork. Like, yes, I mean, it is a spork. Which, seriously, Jackass, you need to check out Sporkman. Like, I still have yet to check out Sporkman, but I haven't had the money.
Yeah.
Like, my whole thing is if I can get a job before he does his Indiegogo, you already know. But that's just because, it got to help out the Sporkman. But yeah, no, it's definitely one of those. I actually have an understanding that for every action, there's an equal and or opposite reaction.
Yeah. I mean, any movement, it's
Nice. Hey, if you're talking free comics, I'll take it.
oh man.
No, not you, Spork. He's like, I can hook you up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
take care of my peeps. So I'm like, free comics? Really? I'll take some free comics. I don't care if it's digital. I'll still read the fuck out of it. Which, speaking of Dick, if you have not gotten Wanpool, shame on you.
I'm behind right now on a lot of comics, and it's like not August, but I guess late August is when I'm really gonna start making money, and so I'm like holding out till the last minute for every single Indiegogo project.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I want to say Lone Star. It's coming really close to the end, and so I'm probably just gonna end up buying that, even though my bank account's kind of teetering on the edge of,
You did also just move into a new place.
Yeah. But it's this place. I got a pretty good deal moving in, and so it shouldn't hit. It actually is a positive factor in that.
My question is, are you getting grants or student loans?
Loans. From family, and so essentially I'm gonna have to pay them back, but they never increase.
Yeah, it's not like the actual student loans like what I fucking owe.
Oh yeah, it's
And I didn't even fucking graduate. That's the worst part.
huh.
Yeah, that was my own fuck up. I only have myself to blame. That to me is live and learn situation.
Yeah.
And I will eventually get myself back in school, except this time I'm just going to be smart and stick to fucking engineering.
Oh yeah, engineering. All right, that definitely makes sense that you dropped then. It's a rough deal.
No. I wasn't even going to school for engineering. I was going to school for computer sciences. I wanted to learn to program. Here's the thing that didn't click with me. I've been trying to learn German my whole life. All right. Both my parents speak it, my sister speaks it to an extent. I can't really speak a fucking word of it. And guess what? It's because some people are not. There are some people who just cannot learn languages. Their mind doesn't work like that. I can look at a machine and figure out how it works. I can, like the bit I was talking about with my car, I can fix it. I just don't have the tools to do it. And on top of that, it's just cheaper to just replace the whole fucking engine. And like, the Spork's like, hey, it took me till 38 to get a bachelor's degree. That is me. Oh, no, I that's good. At least you got your degree. At least you're doing, like I said, doing better than me. But that was my own fuck up. Like I said, I went to school for the wrong thing. I should have known better. And at least I'm not like some people who will sit there and blame others.
Yeah.
Like,
There's enough of that going around.
that's. I guess you can say it's a learning experience. It's easy to blame everyone else for your problems.
Yeah.
It's hard to just admit to yourself and to others that it's your own fault that you are in the situation you are in. And so when you put yourself in that situation, you can't, like, especially when you blame others, you at that point have no room to really talk about anything because you're just pushing the blame off onto someone that didn't, like, yes, they may have given you the opportunity to put yourself in that situation, but you were the one who agreed with them and said, yeah, let's do that, instead of doing what you should be doing. Which is pretty much what I did. So I'm not going to blame them. I'm going to blame myself. Because I did it to myself.
Sorry, I'm working on something.
Like that. Let's see. I'm in instrumentation, so hooray for engineering, buddy. Then I always love the expression, you go to college to discover yourself. Bitch, I can discover myself walking barefoot in the desert. Definitely. It's true. It's true. I'm going to college and going thousands in debt to get a piece of paper that'll magically allow me to get a job. Thank you. That's my other thing. That's the other reason why I don't like college, man. If you know it, you know it.
Yeah.
Only thing a piece of paper does is say that you did the bare minimum to be able to get a piece of paper. Like, any idiot can get a goddamn fucking piece of paper. It takes someone who really enjoys the subject to learn about it without the rewards of a piece of fucking paper.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm a firm believer we need to bring back apprenticeships. Proper apprenticeships.
Oh gosh, yes. That's a big one.
Well, think about it. 200 years ago, if you wanted to become a lawyer, yes, you could. I think they did, if I remember right, they did have universities, even here in America back then. But more common was you would apprentice under a lawyer, learn the laws, basically on-the-job training. You'd sit there, you'd watch them in court, you'd learn through being there. And, like, it makes sense. You're not just going into debt for a piece of paper and a possibility of getting a job. You have a job. You may not be making much, but that's because you're a fucking apprentice.
Yeah. And it's like, give yourself some time. People are too impatient. That kind of stuff. And it's like,
well, I mean, think about it. Before universities, like, especially when America was growing and it'd take forever for the areas to get established universities and whatnot, there was only, like, universities in key spots within the country. So it's either move to those spots, or, which was more likely, that would be how you'd go into that field. You'd go to a doctor, go to a lawyer, go to whatever, and be like, hey, let me apprentice under you. They'd give you a shot. If you proved you were worth a damn, they'd keep you on and they'd pay you. They always tested you out first. If you weren't worth a hill of beans, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But if you were worth a grain of salt, they held on to you, they paid you, they took care of you because they knew you were there to learn. You'd shown that you were there to actually better yourself and move on to the next thing. It's like the closest thing we have to that now is like trade school.
Uh-huh.
And even then, like that's still not a full blown apprenticeship. It's a lot cheaper than college, but and we do have a shortage of blue collar workers within the country. Spark touched on it pretty well. He was like, here, my thing, everything I've learned with computers was all self taught, but I could not move up until I got degrees and certifications.
Yeah.
And then numbing, I've heard so many people in manual labors that would rather have people who never went to college or had formal training so they can train the new guys how to do things the way they do things. And like, but all businesses want people who have had college or training and experience. Workers prefer new minds. Businesses want experienced minds. And that's where the apprenticeship would be so much better because if instead of going to a classroom to try to learn these things, you would pretty much go and, like I said, you would go to somebody, hey, teach me. I want to learn. That's how you would learn. And if you wanted to open up your own shop doing exactly that, well, how are you experienced? What makes you certified to do this or qualified? It wouldn't be certified to be qualified to do this. Well, I apprenticed under this person. And if they were, for instance, a lawyer with anything, people would go, oh, okay, I'll give you a shot because you're cheaper than him, but you were trained under him. And then you'd build up your own practice and things like that.
Ooh, Blue Watch is in.
Yes, I was actually about to say what's up. But warning, Blue Watch, we were talking about apprenticeships versus college and university and whatnot. So if you have anything to add, feel free. That's what we're all about. But I am gonna kill the mic for a minute, or the camera for a minute.
I know a hell of a lot of young men, especially, could do a lot more with apprenticeships than with college. There's a lot of jobs in college that are kind of
Well,
the notion is that you get the degree and you move in, you get the job, and you just kind of go through the motions in life. But that's not the case. A lot of them require a lot that they don't teach you in school, of course.
well, it's not just that. It's men and women are wired differently. This is This is an actual like biological fact. Men and women are wired differently. Men are more active and require basically it's basically like take school. Girls are pretty much the gold standard because they can sit there quietly and so on and so forth, while boys are pretty much penalized for being boys. But
Yeah.
but the thing that no one's actually really taking into account is the fact that when you have something like that, you are missing an opportunity to help the boy. If you understand how that they learn differently, do something different with them. You know what I mean? Make the I guess you could say lessons more interactive. Find a way to gain those boys' attention, especially in today's day and age where boys are pretty much colleges are 75% women.
Wow,
And,
that it was that high.
yes,
Damn.
men are less likely to graduate high school. They're less likely to graduate college. They are the majority of the homeless. They are the majority of, those affected by the ills of society, i.e., addicts, things like that. So if that, and women like to say the patriarchy, but it's the men who are getting all or I should say the feminists like to say the patriarchy, but it's the men who's getting all the problems. And apprenticeships would help that. It would get men back on track, because at that point they're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are in a more interactive environment. They are more likely to stick around in the environment, things like that. It's not just, oh well, let's stick them in a classroom and stick them in an environment that is increasingly becoming more hostile towards men. That's why I'm a firm believer, if you are male and you are going to go to college, do an online course.
Hmm.
Especially since Title IX is not going to be fair to you. They're going to see that you're a man and immediately rubber stamp it as you're the problem. I mean, the loose power and control model is completely biased and incorrect. It completely avoids the statistical fact that women are just as likely to be abusive as men. It completely ignores so many things. But what you have is basically something created by a bunch of feminists who had a bone to pick with men and decided that they were just going to be dicks. Let's just be honest. And anyone who says that women cannot have a malicious streak, why? If that's the case, why does the old expression exist of "hell hath no fury as a woman scorned"?
The finger of scorn. Agreed. Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Sorry, we kind of got off into my area.
No, it's yeah.
Like, well, okay. I'm being the fact that my natural skill set is engineering. I tend to look at society as a giant machine, and if every piece is not moving properly, then you need to look at what components are not, I guess you could say, working with the rest. So that's why I have a big problem with SJWs. They don't play nice. They don't work with the rest to fix the problems. They make problems worse. They compound the issues because they're not doing their function.
Huh.
It it's funny because I actually have a buddy of mine who went to college for engineering. What's even funnier, we're on two, like, he's the, I guess you could say, pro-black, uh, pro-black, white supremacy, all this, that, and the other. He uses all the buzzwords.
Yeah, I get you.
But we disagree on everything, but we respect each other. We don't, like, he would be what you would classify as like a SJW.
All right.
But him and I can have a conversation and we'll disagree on everything, but we're respectful to each other. We're having fun because we disagree. I got a book on Afrikaans and a few other books in my collection. He lost his job, and so he wasn't able to pay for them. So I was just like, you know what? I'll hold on to them, and once you get the money, you know where they're at. I'll be like, here. Like, shit like that. It was something that I did just because, like Blue Watcher said, people who disagree but can still still be respectful is the best kind of friendship. Yeah, but that's because we understand that through debate is how you find those answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without debate, you become stagnant. And for me, it's debating is the truest way to be able to see if your ideas and ideals hold up under scrutiny. Like I said, I've thought about this a lot. But then again, I mean, one of the things in my comic that I'm wanting to do is end each issue with a philosophical quote.
Huh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, to give you, give me a sec, but to give you a bit of insight into that, the way my first issue ends is this is the quote. Mystical explanations are considered deep. The truth is, they're not even shallow. Friedrich Nietzsche.
Huh.
And I think that's like that gives you an idea of the things I read and the
Yeah.
I guess you could say the way I think. I don't like Freud though. He will never have a quote in my comics.
Good. Yeah, he weirds me out. I'm not a big fan.
Say that again?
I'm not a fan of Freud.
Ah, yeah, no.
He weirds me out.
Freud was a fraud who had uh basically a pedimus, could you believe, complex,
Oedipus. Yeah.
and his one of his I guess you could say one of his followers went. I think his last name was Reese, I believe, or something like that. Went and basically made a paper that he finally confessed pretty much on his deathbed to one of his daughters. The person that he used as the model for that was himself.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it doesn't surprise, but at the same time, it's still like, gosh damn, you freaking weirdo. Uh,
Yeah.
man, that guy. That man, that monster. His fan.
Uh yes, I kind of agree with you. Blue, like it came to me not as a filler idea. It came to me as a great way to end it because I do the way I am trying to write my book is everything is a metaphor for something. Not my book, but my comic, I should say. Everything's meant to be like a metaphor. Like each thing in there, if you take the time to actually look and think about things, you will see that each character and organization and things like that represent something within our society. That has always been the plan with this. I've just been able to refine it as I've gotten older and grown to understand society a bit better, and because with age always comes a bit more insight into the bigger picture. Like that's the way I've always tried to look at things. I understand I don't know everything. Now, granted, is my goal to try to learn as much as I can? Yes. That's to me is a very honorable goal. Everyone should strive to learn as much as they can and to better themselves to the best of their ability. You won't always succeed. You will more often than not fail, but the big test is whether or not you pick yourself up out of that dirt, dust yourself off, and keep going. And that's one of the things that I've realized even myself. I had a bad habit of letting myself get knocked down and stay down. And that's the first part of being able to actually start picking yourself up and dusting yourself off and going. When you get knocked down, you've just got to be like, look, this is going to happen. And so in my comic, that's one of the messages I want to convey. The main character fails often, but he, over time, realizes he has to eventually pick himself up and dust himself off and move on. Like I said, dude, philosophy, man. I did have a lot more books but not having a job, sold a lot of first editions. Oh God, makes me sad. Makes me so sad. I wish I didn't have or I wish I had a proper first edition of a Brief History of Time. I have two first editions, but the problem is they're first edition, second state. See the original printings of A Brief History in Time were done in London, which makes sense. Stephen Hawking's was English. When the American first editions were made, they looked exactly the same as the English version. Which, mind you, those books are like $2,000. But the problem is the first edition, first state had so many errors in it that they end up having to recall it, and they released the second state. It's still technically a first edition, but it's not worth nearly as much as the first state because it still has all the flaws. Even if it is an inaccurate book, the flaws is what makes it so expensive. All right, give me a second. A brief time. I need an American first edition, first state.
Yeah, correct. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Say that again?
Numbing with a pretty good quote in the comments. Metaphors are all well and great, but do remember sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Yes.
And as the SJWs put it on Twitter, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and something else like a duck, it's probably a Nazi.
That's great. All right. So, and mind you, the hardcover. Yeah, by Stephen Hawking knew. All right, so the first American first state with all the problems is worth 1,050. But the ultra rare recalled first edition, and then you have the corrected first edition, and both of mine are first printings. And oh yeah, let me see. That's why it's first and second state. All right, to give you an idea of how different in price they are. For my book, in good shape and everything, mind you, I have two of them. I would only get $60 for it. That's dude.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's because the original state is worth. The only reason why it's worth so much is because of the fact that it has so many flaws within it. So many. I guess you could say problems. Sorry, trying to English, not doing it very well.
Yeah, I get you.
Let's see. Let me. When you have too many books and no bookshelf. Okay. All right, there we go. Turn my camera back on. You think I'm playing? Take a look.
Oh, damn, yeah. We got both of them.
Or they're both the second state, but give me a second. Uh, April 1988.
Oh, damn.
And April 1988.
All right. The pair.
Yeah, like I said, dude. Like I said, I'm a bit of a bibliophile. I enjoy. I think everyone should enjoy books, and everyone should enjoy taking pride in having first editions because they are hard to find. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Like I said, too many books, not enough storage space. I think this is... Yes! I don't know if you've ever heard of this book. Have you ever heard of the book Chariots of the Gods?
Chariots of the Gods. I've heard of it.
It's the original book on ancient astronauts. Basically, aliens, basically interacting with undeveloped man. Chariots of the Gods. Mind you, this book is beat to all hell. There's no dust cover.
Huh.
But 1968. This is the original English printing because it was originally printed in Germany.
Huh.
Yes. Like, and I have the books following it. Give me a sec. Malcolm X, Thomas Paine, Gulag Archipelago, Fahrenheit, my old copy of the Communist Manifesto. I told you, and mind you,
Do it all.
I have, like, for my buddy, I have an original printing of Roots.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are they? I know, got them. Ah! There they are. Let's see. Don't remember which one is first. But these aren't original printings, mind you, but Gods from Outer Space, The Gold of the Gods, which further go into the ancient astronaut theory. And since I'm showing off my books anyway, something that is very difficult to find.
Hmm.
Give me a sec. Actually, I should probably take it out of here. The General Grand Chapter Order of the Eastern Star, International Eastern Star. An actual book on, like, Masonic book. Like the type that you're not supposed to get a hold of. Because, Masons are very secretive. That's why, on the one hand, I don't trust the Masons. Because no one should be that secretive.
Yeah, my mother actually works for Scottish Rite Hospital. It's a children's hospital, and yeah, the company has some problems. She says internally with they'll only promote Masons to the highest because the Masons own it. They only promote Masons to the highest degree in the company, which means no women. And I think that they have some like deals where they can't promote people of certain religion too. But either way, yeah, they got some weird stuff that they do.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know. But at the same time, I have taken the, or I should say, I have thought heavily about becoming a Mason myself.
Cool.
It's a resource, man.
It is, and it's an intense business resource. Like you'll,
Exactly.
yeah,
Like,
numbing disaster. Really, just a bunch of old farts in a country club. I, but they do hire other old farts from the country club.
exactly. But also, Jewish ethics and halakha for our time.
Huh.
Like I said, I study religion.
Yeah.
I got more books, so I don't feel like trying to dig through all of these. But like, I have like 2 different books on Einstein.
Oh.
Yes, I have a book on constitutional law. You'll find this, especially numbing, will find this interesting. Fundamental principles of quantum mechanics. And a sec. I'll try to be careful with this book because of how old it is. Too far. See, London, 1937.
37 for the
Yes.
quantum mechanics?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's impressive. That's astounding.
Oh, I know, dude. Like, and the nice thing is since these are all hard copies, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's like, let me see. It's things that most people would not be able to find because it has all the original text. Is that my book on? Yes. Like, give me a sec. Pulling up. Might as well since I'm showing off my books because I've been talking about them. I don't like to talk about things without actually showing them off because anybody can say they have something, but it's. I don't like to just say, "Oh yeah, I have that." You know what I mean? I like to actually be like, "Look, no, I actually have these books here. Look." I'm just reorganizing my drawer with some of my books because no, you are not sliding into my cat's food. My book on constitutional law. But all right. Yeah. Yes. Yes, numbing quantum mechanics. Let's see. Okay. Just so you can see it. A textbook of constitutional law. All right?
Uh-huh.
1906.
Yeah, that's
And because I was talking about it earlier, Goebbels' diaries.
oh boy. Prepare to be labeled an alt-right Nazi.
Actually, this was required reading for a lot of reasons back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely important, again, to know your enemies, to know the past and how not to repeat it and things like that. But nowadays, they'd rather just not look at it if it's
Oh yeah, and
uncomfortable.
yeah, because they're idiots.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get it where you can see it. 1948. This is a legit original printing. I mean, granted, like I said, the dust cover's all torn to shit. It's got severe water damage, but still a wonderful find. That's more to have just to have. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can eventually get me a good copy because I still need to actually read the book. I'm afraid to read that copy. I'm afraid I'll destroy it even more than what it already did.
Cool.
I think we were touching on that earlier, Numbing. Especially being the fact that if you look at your social security number, it is technically your corporate ID number. But moving on, we're having fun talking old books, and well, I'm having fun talking old books. I think Dick here is just like, shut up about the books already.
That's fine. I just, don't have any, or a lot of books at least, that I shove into that path on my own. I don't even remember where it was. I think it was in the World Class Bullshit stream the other day.
We were just going over weird books and shit that we had, and it came up that I had some old. You remember the Bionicles?
Mm-hmm.
They had their own comic book series. You remember that?
I do remember that. I didn't read it, but I do remember they had their own comic book series.
Yeah, I think it was a free thing. You were subscribed to like the Lego Club thing. That was, of course, a free little newsletter thing. They'd mail out to all the kids who were subscribed or whatever. And so I have this giant box with a bunch of the old Bionicle comics. I got to break that out and review some of that stuff or relook at some of that stuff for all the Comicsgate crowd to look at, just to kind of compare it to what's being put out nowadays. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah,
weird stuff.
Well, for me, like I said, it's when it comes to comics, oh man, I still stand by the best era of comics was the 80s and 90s and whatnot. I mean, granted, Rob Liefeld, we can overlook Rob Liefeld.
And he had some great story writing, but his art was just.
It's like DP2. Whoever created that, where he's talking about dominoes, like whoever created that power probably can't draw feet.
I didn't catch that. That was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. That's
no. I mean, Rob Liefeld, no matter what, he's cemented himself in the annals of comic book history because he did create some characters that are still around today.
Yeah.
But the problem is he couldn't draw feet. He had to have too many pouches. He's like, I mean, granted, my character has pouches on them, but they all do something. They're not just there for show.
Yeah.
Like, when you have a character that is an engineer, he's going to have, well, not so much he's an engineer. He's more of technically the keeper of all the universe's secrets, but whatever. Super intelligent. Well, more like deity, if you will, intelligence. Meaning, he has knowledge that only gods have. Speaking of, so did you notice the switch that I almost didn't notice? It wasn't I kind of noticed it, but I just kind of wrote it off. But notice the tone shift with Ragnarok in the MCU. Prior to Ragnarok, magic had to be rooted in science. It was a form of science, not... You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Ragnarok changed all that. Because remember, in Dark World, Odin said, "We are not gods. We are born, we grow old, and we die."
Huh.
And Odin in the second Thor movie.
Yeah.
But in 3, you hear them talking about being gods a lot. Like even that speech with between Odin, or not so much speech, but the vision of Odin, vision / telepathic conversation. where Odin's like, "Are you Thor, god of Hammers?"
Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
And Hela being the goddess of death, things like that. So I did finally see fucking Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
So, spoiler alert for the chat. But what was the least or the most tragic death in your mind?
Gamora. Hands down.
Yes. Fine.
Hands down.
I feel the same damn way, and everyone's like, "Oh, it was Spider-Man."
No.
Mm-hmm.
Because Gamora thought she'd finally won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the same from me.
And then come to find out, oh, Thanos really did look at her like, his own child.
Yeah.
And like when he said he dreamed of her one day sitting in that throne, like he was setting it up. And to her, it was just him talking, doing what he always does, tell people what they want to hear to manipulate them. But then you find out, no,
Not for himself.
she literally was his chosen heir and everything. He literally did want her to sit. I like the Numbing's man after my own heart. It's a good thing I don't care about spoilers. But no, like it, and I just like when he turned around, he's got tears in his eyes. It's like
Yeah.
you knew instantly if you were paying attention to everything he had said and everything he had done throughout that movie. You knew this was literally the hardest thing he would ever have to do, but he was going to do it because he had come so far.
Yeah.
And even Matt agrees. He's like, yeah. And may I say, Zoe Saldana is fucking hot.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say I might be a little biased just because like I'm into Zoe, but
dude, Zoe was the first Uhura first time I actually found Uhura hot. Like everyone's all like, but Nichelle Nichols, she's not that hot to me. Even young Nichelle Nichols wasn't that hot to me. But Zoe Saldana, on the other hand, she just, I don't know, it's just,
Marvel's like they've got this thing with like the Caribbean women that are like kind of a mix between African and Hispanic descent. It's her, Rosario Dawson in Daredevil.
Also another like extreme hottie.
Yeah, and it's like, dang, they're killing it. They're laying it down there.
But no, the ironic thing is I will never get involved with a Hispanic woman. I've been there, done that. My last girlfriend was Hispanic, and oh my god, was she a whole bunch of crazy. Way too much crazy. I cannot handle the level of crazy that she was. Oh god, like you want to talk about flashbacks? Woman would start fights with me just to start fights, and it's like, why are you starting a fight? We are literally fight. You are starting a fight over nothing.
Yeah, my cousin did that.
Yes, numbing. She was an Avatar.
Oh yeah, she was. Then again, that's not very easy to tell that it was her.
Yeah. That was bugging me throughout the whole movie because I was like, man, that looks like Zoe Saldana. I remember the first time I saw her was The Losers, actually. I was like, who the fuck is this bitch? She's fucking hot. Oh my god. She's hot. Oh, I was actually a little jealous of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I'm not gonna lie. Which, may I say, The Losers is a highly underrated film. Highly underrated film. Like, The Losers had a lot of things going for it, and Like no one really gave it a shot, and it's like, are you kidding me? The movie had a great cast, had a really, and I mean really solid, plot. Why? Like I'm surprised it didn't get a sequel because they set it up perfect for a sequel. Red, another good movie that
Yeah, Red was pretty cool too, from what I remember.
the second one not so much.
Yeah.
The second one felt like it was good, but it felt kind of like everything that made the first one great. They just kind of whatever in the second one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And that's the shame. It's like,
Sorry.
Huh?
I've got a delivery coming in. I've been lazy, haven't been cooking tonight.
Got you a pizza, huh?
Yeah. I'm doing costumes. We'll probably be able to hear the whole thing.
Well, I mean, we have been streaming now for about 4 or 5 hours all together. Huh?
Go on.
Nice.
Well, I figure we'll go for about basically we'll end it here in 8 minutes. How does that sound? Give you a chance to eat your food without having to be in a stream.
I'm streaming. Like a radio show.
Avatar was a good movie. Numbing. I'm not gonna lie, it was a good movie. I got you. Your pizza was at the door.
Yeah.
No, that makes that whole like I figured I was like, what's going on? And then I'm like, oh, I get it. When I heard you laugh, I was like, oh, I got you now. You're actually getting it. But
Yeah.
but yeah, dude, like I said, like we'll go for until midnight, which is in like 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like give us like I said, let you be able to eat your pizza without trying to, you know what I mean?
Oh, the accident that was the last attempt to eat with a mask on.
Mm-mm.
It's hot anyways. So
Yeah, I figured as much.
yeah.
And Black Mass doesn't need. What do you got there? What do you got there? Hold up, I enlarged you.
Just the bare minimum.
Pepperoni? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. Who's it from?
I don't know how famous these guys are because they're just really close to my new apartment. It's Hungry Howie's.
Haven't heard of them.
Must be a local thing.
Could be. Well, dude, you're in Texas, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, that's one thing. When I moved to Colorado, I was like literally asking the guys I'd made friends with there, so where the fuck is a goddamn Whataburger?
Yeah.
And they were like, what the fuck is a Whataburger? And I was like, oh my fucking god. And then my next question is, please tell me you at least got a Brahms. What the fuck is Brahms?
No. Yep.
What the fuck? Are you guys sheltered? Those are like two amazing fucking burger places, and one serves ice cream that is to die for.
Oh yeah. I man. I think Oklahoma has Brahms too, but
Yes, it does. That's why I'm.
yeah, because they do everything that we do. They're copycats.
Well,
I'm kidding, but
you got to take into account I'm in southern Oklahoma, and like for those who are not a part of the area, what they don't realize is south of OKC is southern. We have a lot of cultural bleed over from Texas and the southern states. So we're very southern here. North of OKC, it's Midwestern. And if you want to go historically, Oklahoma did side with the Confederacy during the Civil War. So technically, we are a southern state. But, that's actually going into history. The Confederacy was willing to give the Native Americans a seat at the table where the Union at the time was not.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of heavy politics going into that. The emissary's back. Shame we're going to be calling it here in like 4 minutes, but either way. Actually, emissary, you missed me showing off my books. It was glorious. Glorious. Arg. Yes, I've watched a little too much American Dad. No, that's actually, that line is from the Star Trek episode in season 2. It was the episode where basically Steve wrote a book that he based off of Roger. And it was a children's book that got big. And he went on basically the children's pirate show for the area. And the host is making fun of the Actors Guild host. Yeah, I know you know who I'm talking about. Older gentleman, thick, like big old glasses, things like that. I'm going to laugh if we start finally getting, if we start getting viewers and we're like, we're going to call it quits.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that how it normally goes?
I think so.
It's like, well. Oh, and by the way, guys, next time I've decided to play KOTOR on a stream, I should have the resolution issue fixed so no more stream bugging out. That was my own fault. I didn't think about that. I've thought about it now.
So I'm guessing everyone else's streams just ended.
That's probably what's happened. But at the same time, I mean...
Yeah.
If we had more people, I could just, like, I'm talking in the stream, I could justify going later, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, just the two of us.
Mm.
And, we really haven't had a lot from chat going on.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I feel so bad. Like, we had a great conversation going with chat and everything, and then stream gets fucked off because of the fact that I was streaming.
Oh, I mean, it's good, but that's funny that a lot of people are saying, or by a lot I mean 1/6 of the stream, the one person is saying that Numbing Disaster is saying he'd love more KOTOR streams.
Right. Hey, who knows? Maybe I might knock the dust off my Twitch account and actually start using it for some actual gaming streams on there. I don't like Twitch. Let's just be honest, I'm not that great of a gamer. I feel like I'm taking away from those who are actually really good. You know what I mean? And who deserve the viewers.
You mean, but at the same time, like some of the biggest Twitch streamers are like Jake Paul and Ninja, who suck.
Oh, wow. I guess it's because it makes people feel better instead of making them feel worse.
I don't even know about that. It's just because they got these wacky, like borderline parody personalities.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of playing a character. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can do it.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, being a character is not as much fun as just being myself. Because, quite frankly, I want, I like that, just as long as we can all agree that General Grievous was in the right.
Yeah, given everything he knew, I will side with you there and say that General Grievous was in the right, given what he did.
Well, I didn't know his backstory, so hearing that basically he viewed the Jedi as the cause of the destruction on pretty much of its home world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't argue that. I'd be a little salty with the Jedi too. It'd be like, all right, you know what? Fuck you, assholes, and be kind of on a mission for some blood.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, it's 12:01. It's that time, folks.
Sounds good.
I'll let you do your closing bit there, Dick.
All right. I don't know if I really have a closing bit, do I?
Basically, he's Dick McJackass. You can find him on Twitter at Dick McJackass. You can find him on YouTube. You know, his channel, Dick McJackass, as
Jack.
well.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. I should be kind of revamping a lot of my content this coming semester due to having a bunch of people on the bar district. I'm going to do a lot more kind of like out in the street jaywalking style videos. Those will be fun. That's pretty much it.
All right. And as always, I'm your host, Bob Dolbot. You can find me on Twitter at Brainiac420. Of course, this is my channel, so if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you could, help the channel out by donating to my Patreon so I can buy comics. All the comics. All indie, too, because I won't support those big corporate assholes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks. Y'all have a good night.